Well. Looks like we're back for part 5 of the story of David Benjamin Ketelsen Einfeldt, aka Jesus. Ah, man. I like all my names, okay? And I know that everybody want to be like, there's only one name. There's only the one name. It's the most mighty. It's the most powerful name of mine. Absolutely. It does the most good. But I like all my names, so you can call me any of them. So just wanted to throw that out there. Hello. I'm back, here to, continue the story. We left off, about when I was about age 19. And right where I was living in Davenport, 17th of Gaines. Just broke up with Nick, and now, let's continue on. So after that, fight, oh, nice, I got a Gina going on, woo, sorry, nice, sorry, I believe I said that. But yeah, that's what it is, Gina. So, alright, let's figure this out from there. That kind of threw me off. Alright, so, got jumped, left 17th and Gaines that day with my stuff. I think I went back to my parents' house, or it was just where my mom stayed then, with old Ronald. By then, I think I stayed there a little bit. And then, let's see, what did I do next in life? And then I met Bailey Jackson. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize a million times. Yeah, Bailey, she is a good girl. She was a writer. We had a lot of crazy memories, because we took a lot of drugs together. Yeah, and a lot of them were Xanax. And, yeah, we did some pretty wild things together. And the relationship became very toxic because of it. We would always find a way through all that toxicity, and like we'd always end up making it through, but eventually the drug use just took its toll on us, and we never could make it through that. So of course we didn't make it. We cheated on each other. She won't admit to cheating on me still, probably this day, but I know she did. She got called out. I cheated on her too. That's the one girl I cheated on. Yeah, she was, we got an apartment together, and that's kind of when it all fell apart. And we were like doing a lot of drugs there, and I was completely losing my shit. We were doing like hallucinogens together, a lot of hallucinogens, which we had some really cool, like magical nights on those. Some pretty cool experiences, but for the most part, we had just a bunch of bad nights. And it was mainly like the drugs Xanax, or I think lorazepam is what she got. And that mixed with everything else completely ruined everything. But she was a writer, and we have some crazy memories. Like very, very graphic things happened. She watched me knock out this dude in the middle of the street on Farnham and 15th in Davenport. Because he called my friend the N-word, and it really made me mad. And so I knocked him out 3 times, and he just kept coming back at me. And after the second time, he came up to the car, and we were getting in her car, and he bricked the window to her car. So I got out, and I remember I was just tunnel visioned to his jaw. And I remember that night I was on Xanax and ecstasy at the same time. And I went out and I just like knocked him out, and he was cold in the street. And then he was wearing tidy whities. I took his underwear and I ripped him over his head too. Ripped him over his head. And he was cold out in the street. And turns out and then next thing I know, I like walk away because I'm like, all right, like lit. And then I turn around, and then I see Bailey stomping his out because he broke her window, and she was probably on the same drugs as me. She lost her crap too, and yeah, that was really bad. That guy ended up going to the hospital, and we're lucky he's alive, to be honest. So I knocked him out so clean. Like, I can hit hard, okay? I hit really hard. And I should never be punching or kicking anybody because I'm very, very easily could kill someone because there's this like inner power in me that just unleashes, and it's lethal. So yeah, but so anyways, I also have had my ass beat quite a few times by picking fights with dudes way bigger than me, or just being really messed up. This guy right here is from fighting with this WWE wrestler out of Buffalo. What's his name? Buffalo, Iowa. Seth something. I think it Rollins or something. We were at a wedding reception, and his friend said something to my girl, or it was Nikki, actually, and we were like, that was like when we were kind of trying to like talk again or something, and his friend said something like, "Oh, baby, you should just come with us." And I was drunk and I got pissed and I went and shoved his friend. And his friend went flying into this rock bed, like a flower bed with a rock base. And freaking cracked his head open. And then next thing I know, I turn around and I'm fighting two of his friends. And one of them was, I think, that Seth guy, who's like 250 pounds at least. Or probably 275, big dude. And then another dude. Yeah, and they beat the crap out of me. And I remember at the end, I was getting up and I was on my hands and knees. And then I look up and here comes dude. And he just comes up and boom! Stone Cold Steve Austin's me with dress shoes on. Oh man. And yeah, he kicked me and I had the biggest funny eye. And then William Turner, he's just a good fighter. He took me by surprise. I remember I was like doing lines of Xanax and Ritalin that night. And completely underestimated Will, and we got in a fight at Vanderveer Park in Davenport, and under like one of the little street lights, and it was a good fight. We were like standing up, and I remember we were fighting, and I busted his upper lip, and then he just like kicked it into gear, and then he punches me, and he completely almost split my lip in half like this. And that's what got me. And then I had just done those drugs, so I was just like out of it. And then next thing I know, I was like, he knocked me out. And then I was like getting up on the ground like this, and I look, and then I turn my head, and here he comes. And he's just like, field goal kicked my head. And yeah, so after that night, I had two really black eyes, extremely black eyes, for like, and they were deep. They didn't even show up right away. It took a while for them to set in, and then they finally set in, and they were there for like 2 months. Like, I had two coon eyes. And yep. And then I just was hanging out with the wrong people. And then and just, yeah, I was the wrong person to hang out with too. I was bad back then. But I still loved. I always loved. Okay. I might have freaked out. Like, I had my moments, especially on Xanax, where I like lashed out and like freaked people out for sure. But all in all, this kept me safe. And I surely wasn't really doing what Jesus would do, but maybe in this life it is what he would do, because it's what I did. So, you know, I had to bring the prophecy to life, and it had to, you know, I had to experience all these things in order to, you know, speak on them and relate to people. So then when someone comes and tells me a story about something, I've already been there. And it doesn't matter. They can see that still Jesus loves them and will forgive them. And God's love is endless. It's always going to win no matter what the sin is. Remember Paul, he killed Christians. He killed the people who followed Jesus and then went and preached his gospel. Paul killed them. And then Jesus came to him, and Paul had an encounter with the Holy Ghost. And then Jesus blinded him for 3 days, had him go blind, and then he healed him of that. And then look what he did with Paul. Paul wrote all the epistles and stuff, or all the like many books of the Bible, 9 or 12, I can't remember, but and he's a very wise man. So just to show you, like, God can do whatever he wants. He'll use, my mom always says this, he'll use a donkey if he needs to. And I'm like, what? So jackass? Like, I never get what she means by that, but like she's right. Like God can use anything, anyone that he wants to get his point across. And he's finally using me, finally called my name, and I'm just so happy, and I'm ready to make him proud, ready to live up in full to what this means. This was the best decision of my life maybe not the best decision of my life, but like one of them. And because what you get stamped on your skin matters. Okay, I have that. I have the Lion of Judah on me. I still got to get some feet so the Lion of Judah can walk, because that's what he does. It's funny how it turned out. I was just getting lion because my ex Allie, she's like, oh, you're a Leo, get a lion. And which actually is significant because of what happened on the week I got baptized in the Holy Ghost, with the constellations and how everything lined up, and it's just crazy. It's all just crazy. But that's for another story. Anyways, yeah, so where was I yet? Oh yeah, like this is my first tattoo, and it was totally worth it, because like it's kept me alive, and like what you get stamped on your skin matters. Like it affects you. So like if you get demonic things printed on your skin, stamped on your skin like that sticks with you, that lives inside you. Okay, and you can get it covered up, you can change. Okay, you can change. You can get them taken off, whatever, but do it soon, because soon it's all gonna matter. Okay, so like all you girls I see out there, like getting Medusa heads and stuff on you, like, I mean, I don't know, but honestly, I just don't think that's really good. False god with snakes for hair. I mean, do what you please, but you're deciding your own fate when you put stuff like that on your skin. So just be smart about it. If you're gonna get tattoos, be smart about it. And in that case, I've been pretty smart. I mean, I did get both of my baby mama and my ex-wife's names tatted on me, but I covered them up because they weren't worthy of being on me anymore, because they ruined that. And you're gonna hear all about that here soon. But yeah, so that's what happens. This is the best decision I ever made, though, for tattoo, for sure. Then I have cash, and I gotta get Alina and Cruz's name on me, but I just haven't had money for tattoos. Gotta get the feet on the lion too. But so all right, let's trace back. So it's 19. I dated Bailey, and I stayed with her at her parents' house a lot. In Davenport, or we would, and then we got an apartment in Walcott, and it just didn't end up working out. We ended up breaking up, splitting up, and then I that's when I really got deep into, like, I had always been, ever since, I don't know when I truly got super deep into. Basically, after Nikki is when I got really deep into taking Adderall and benzos. And yeah, so I was single for quite a while, and then I met Allie. And shortly, I think it was 4 months after me and Allie had met and were together, she got pregnant with Cash. And that changed me for the better in a lot of ways, but it still, I still was never willing to give up drugs and alcohol and smoking for my kids even. I'm sorry for that. I should have. I think women are lucky. Like a lot of women these days complain about getting pregnant, but I think that they're lucky, especially when you are one who has dealt with addiction and stuff like that. You're super lucky when you get pregnant, because right there is a instant opportunity to quit doing drugs and drinking completely. You get 10 months that you must stay clean, and you must choose that baby over other things. You have a human life growing in you. And so I always thought, I was like, man, and it's a miracle. You have a human being that God plants inside you, and he breathes life into you, and then a human being grows in you. I think it's amazing. Like, it kind of makes me jealous that girls are the only ones that get to go through it, because it's like, oh my gosh, like that connection that you just must. It's like, oh my gosh, like, and everybody, like, women look at pregnancy like it's a bad thing, or just like, not all women, but a lot of women do, or like, they don't appreciate the miracle and the blessing that it is, and the gift it is, and the opportunity, if need be, to become a better person that it is. So, I mean, I always have thought that women getting pregnant is it's a gift from God. It's a gift from God. And, if you, like, and he's even allowed it to become a thing where you don't have to even barely feel having a baby with an epidural. Like, yeah, man has made it that way, so a natural way altogether. But I don't think what really, to me, if you can go natural, do it up. That's the best way. If you can breastfeed too, do it up. But for some reason, like, God has allowed epidurals to be a thing. But also, epidural is a drug that they inject into your spine called fentanyl, which is the drug killing millions of Americans every year. So, yeah, I doubt that it's really a good thing. It's also the drug they give you I'm pretty sure it's the drug they give you for the painkillers too, while you're like in labor and stuff. So, before you get that epidural. So, like, I don't know how good it is, but, like, I do believe that it's probably not right to completely do it, but I also believe that if you are if you carry that baby well, those 9.5, 10 months, or however long it is, Some people go at 6, some people go super early and babies survive. But whatever it is, I do believe that they're gonna be okay. Because I mean, my kids turned out really good, and uh, their moms got epidurals and stuff. So who knows? But yeah. So she got pregnant. Allie got pregnant with Cash, and so we moved to Durant, my hometown, from when I was kindergarten through 8th and everything, where my parents are from. And we got a house there, and I got a job up the street at Norfolk Iron and Metal. I really liked that job. I was a sheet loader, and I was super good at it, and it was like a really dangerous job, but at the same time it took speed and precision, so I had to like take risks, but like not but like in a timely fashion, and actually do it with precision. So all that going together, it just like worked for me, because like it was like there was pressure on me to do it, but I had to be safe, otherwise I could be crushed with thousands of pounds of steel and stuff. So it was really cool just working that job, and I was really good at it. So I did really like that job. I remember, and once I was I ran out of Adderall, and one day I asked this one guy that I would give some of the ones I got to, if he could get any, and he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, the guy over on the laser over there, he can get us some. He'll bring it to us at lunch break." So at lunch, I like looked at him, and he's like, "Yeah, come on, go in the bathroom," because he had got it from him. And when we got in there, he's like, "Yo, so he said he had Adderall, but it's not really Adderall." And I'm like, "Okay." And then he's like, "This is what he gave me," and he wings it out, and it's like a little sack of something that flickers. The light flickered on it, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" He's like, "It's some dope." And I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "What is it?" And he's like, "It's meth." I was like, "All right." So it was a quarter gram of meth, and he crushed it down on the bench in the bathroom, and me and my friend from work, we just split it in half, and a quarter gram of meth is not that much, but split an eighth of a gram of meth in a line is fat. It's like this long and that wide. And if you've never done it before, like nobody likes to snort that ice anyways. But and I don't think we even broke it down that well. But anyways, we did it, and I remember instantly, it felt like I just got kicked in the face by like David Beckham or something, and I was like, "Holy crap, dude!" And like that whole side of my face is like burning. I'm crying, tearing down. But then I walk out of the bathroom, and I remember it starts to ease away, the pain, and then it hit my capillary, and the euphoria sets in, and instantly my first thought was, "Wow, I know why this is addictive." Like I instantly thought, and but it was like whatever. And then I went and I did my job like a maniac, and like broke records for what like how many trucks I got done, because it was a production based job, and the more we got done, the more we made on our monthly paychecks. And I ended up loading like 14 trucks that day and in an 8-hour shift. And so yeah, and it was just like Adderall, but it was better. So that is when I got on the hook for that. Yeah. So that happened, and I didn't like, instantly go and like get a bunch more. Like, I still preferred Adderall, because when I ate Adderall, dude, I was eating 3, 4 30s at a time, 30 milligram Addies, and then when those kicked in all at once, like it would last like at least 24 hours, and I would go, and I don't know. Stuff started to get really just like bad. It's really depressing. It's sad, but I gotta be honest about it. So yeah, I'm just like, I'm ashamed right now because I was about to have a baby and that happened. But anyways, then months later, I remember finally they called me over the radio at work. And they're like, David, we just got the call, it's time. And I'm like, oh. And they're like, your baby mom, your kids, or Allie just called, it's time. And I remember that rush. That was better than anything. I was like, oh. And that's when we went to the hospital, and she was having cash. And I remember we got there that night, and she was in labor for quite a few hours, and then she started to deliver I woke up the next morning, and I remember like I didn't eat anything. I was just like, and they're like, it's go time. So I sat there, and and they're like, you want to come hold the leg? So I went and held her leg, and I watched things start to go down and open up, and I'm like, oh my God. And I felt super sick. I got really lightheaded, and then the nurse looks at me. She's like, go sit down. And I almost passed out on my walk to go sit down, and I went in the bathroom and puked. And because I was like, oh my gosh. And so that was that. That was cool. But then we got home from the hospital after those 3 days, and then that's when me and Allie just quit getting along, because, to be honest, she's lazy as crap. And she expected me to do everything, because, she carried the baby and had the baby. She expected me to do everything. She's very sloppy and wouldn't keep anything clean. And I would go to work and come home from work, and she would just be like, like here, blah blah blah. And it's funny because now she's the mom of the century, but whatever. Regardless, I wasn't that great either. I wasn't. And I'll admit that. I wasn't. Like I said, I started doing dope. But I never let drugs interfere with me taking care of my kids. Not at first, at least. And, oh gosh, this is And so that was that. And then I ended up losing my job because of just drug use, her wanting me to constantly be do things that I like. I wasn't getting any sleep because I was using drugs. I had no sleep schedule, and I was getting home and taking care of our son because I loved him so much, and blah 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 blah. And I wasn't using dope and hanging out with my son, but I was still taking Adderall in mass amounts to, keep going and keep going. And then I ended up getting too many points at work from being late, and from like oversleeping then and stuff. So I ended up losing my job, and then we lost the house, and we moved to DeWitt, where Allie grew up and where her parents are from. So we moved out there, and let's see. Then we broke up, and she got an apartment out there, and she got but we hung out on her birthday, and on her birthday is when she got pregnant with Alina. And so then we dated for a while again. And had Alina, and by the end, and then throughout this time, I guess if you want to go back, first time I went to jail was when I was like in between Nikki and Bailey for driving while suspended license. I didn't know I was suspended. I guess my insurance ran out, and then something happened with that. So I went to jail once for that. Got bailed out, and then I started like doing really dumb shit. And I got caught with weed like a bunch of times then, and because I was still taking Xanax and just not like, I was like in La La Land, not even there. I can't believe it. And I would yeah. But so I'm trying to think correctly, and so me and Allie, I went to jail for I was driving through Durant, and I had weed, Xanax, and some other things. And the town cop there, he pulled me over. He saw me, and that's when the town cops in Durant, they started to have it out for me, because R.J. Smith lived in Durant, Robert or Bob Smith, who was basically the dirtiest cop in Iowa for a long time. He always had it out for me. I don't really know why. He would prey on people. You can look him up. He is a dirty cop. I don't think he's a cop anymore because of it. He was just not a good guy, and he gets very malicious and would get physical with anybody he came into contact with, pulled over. Like he's been tried and found guilty for roughing up women when he pulled them over and everything. He has demons in him. So but yeah, he got the other town cop, Officer Doofy. I can't even remember what his real name is. To come get me, or no, to pull me over, and they did, and I was messed up anyways, so I got pulled. I went to jail that night, and I had weed, Xanax all over my car, like just a bunch of stuff, and then I went to jail, and in my like little pocket by my big pocket on my pants, I don't know, they brought me in and I didn't even know, and they didn't warn me, but I didn't even know that this would be a felony. But I had a hitter of weed still on me, and I was so out of it. I had a hitter of weed still on me and a lighter, and I went into the booking or whatever, and they went to search me and they found those two things. So then they tried to pop me with contraband in a correctional facility, because once you get out of the car and actually go into the jail and you get caught with anything else, it's a felony. So it's considered contraband. So let's see, then I got tried for that. Okay, so then I got a job at the Rock Island Arsenal, which is an army base out right in the Quad Cities of Illinois. And I went and nailed an interview. There's like 12 people going for the job one day, and I was just on it that day. I rolled up my sleeves that day, and I went in there and I killed it. And I got the job. Well, then I was being tried for the felony, and I ended up having to serve. And my family came together, and they got me a they got me a really good deal and a really good lawyer, and I was about to get all of it dropped, basically, with a really good lawyer, because that's what you can do. If you have money, you can get away with murder, basically. And I would have not had to serve any time, but then in the midst of that, me and Jake Blake were at the skate park one December, and it was weird that we were there, for sure. It was weird. Because it's December in Iowa, but there's no snow on the ground, so we were there skateboarding, and we were smoking dope, and we would get in the car to smoke the dope, and we were sitting in the car, and then all of a sudden 2 cops just roll in and they block us in, and we were the only ones there. Like, we stuck out like a sore thumb, and we were smoking dope there, and gosh, so stupid. And then the cop comes up to my window, and they first get Jake out of the car to detain him and search him. And I remember I'm sitting there looking at the cop at the window, and I have the meth pipe in my pocket. And it was like a big dumbass one. And I remember I'm just like so nervous, because it had dope in it. And so I'm like, oh God, another felony. I'm already awaiting trial for that other thing, and I was about to, walk away with nothing. But then this happened, and I remember the officer, he finally was like, all right, you can get out. And I was nervous because I thought, oh great, here's another felony in my pocket. I have meth on me, is what I thought it meant. Because I didn't have any other package, just in the bowl was the dope. And so I got out and I flinched, and the cop took that as he freaked out. So he grabbed me and he takes me to the ground, and my face goes right on a curb, and he sticks his knee on the back of my neck, and I'm biting the curb straight up. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just So I push myself off and I shove the cop back, and I start running, and I'm grabbing the pipe out of my pocket, and there was a river right by the skate park, so I'm gonna throw it in the river. And I cock back, and Jake's in the car. He's watching this whole thing. All I hear is freeze and stop and stuff. And I didn't, and I'm about to throw it, and then all of a sudden, bang! Jake thought I got shot. Jake thought they turned and shot me. But I didn't get shot with a gun. I got tased. And I remember because I felt the marks, and I had the marks afterwards. I got one in the spine, one in the butt, and one of the prongs and the Achilles tendon, and the other one missed. And I'm like this. And I'm about to throw it, and I'm ugh. And then I'm ugh. And they come and tackle me to the ground. And this was ridiculous. This is what they did. They came and they grabbed the back of my head. I had longer hair then, and they go boom, boom, boom. And Jake said one of them took a nightstick and jacked me across the back of the head. And and I'm knocked out then. I just got tased. I just had that happen. And so then I wake up, and there's ambulance and fire trucks everywhere, in there, and instantly I get asked, do you want to go to the hospital? And I should have, so it would have been smart, but I was just so lit from the dope, the tase, and getting knocked out that I'm just I'm surprised I didn't die. And excuse me. And oh shoot. So they the cops and the cop somehow bust his finger and all that. And he's like, man, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? And I remember when I woke up, I looked on the ground, and it was the meth pipe, and it just broke, the stem and then the bowl were just sitting there perfectly. And he's like, why'd you do that? And he's like, that was just really for paraphernalia? And I'm like, oh. And it was just a paraphernalia charge. I would have walked away. They can't even take me to jail for having the pipe with the dope in it, just because it's just the pipe and the residue. And so it would have just been a paraphernalia. But they beat the crap out of me. So, but because the cop's thumb was cut, I got paraphernalia, and then interfering with official acts with injury. So that came up. So then we have the next court date with my good lawyer, Dean Keegan, out of Iowa City. He's a phenomenal lawyer. He's one of the best in America, I think. And we were pushing my other case out of court as if it didn't happen. Like, we just kept showing up. I didn't even go in the courtroom. He would go and shoot the shit with the DA, and that was that. So, and it was all gonna go away, but then this happened. So, I ended up getting 45 days in Cedar County Jail, with work release at least, because I had just got the job at the Arsenal. And at the Arsenal, I wouldn't have got the job, but I had to, because if I would have got a felony from the contraband, but because I got the contraband knocked down, I had to go get a note from the sheriff's office in Cedar Rapids just to get my job there. And then I didn't, and then I had to go, once I got the job and I started my first day, that's when I told my federal district manager or whatever about at the Arsenal that I was like, hey, I gotta serve jail time, like right away, right when I started the job. I had to go on work release. But so that sucked. Right before I went to jail, Cash was like, what, 3 and Alina was 1. And I just got a new car, is Cadillac DTS, pearlescent colored, really nice, really fast car, super fast. And so I right before I went to jail, oh gosh. I guess this is what it's all about. Telling the truth. So, sorry, but you're not really treating me well anyways, Allie, so I'm just gonna be out straightforward and tell the truth. Days before I went into jail, like 2 days, I remember everything was good, and I was just like ready to I was like thanking God for the opportunity to keep my job and get work release and just do it like that, and just like have my family. So I was super happy, and me and Allie, I was getting really close with Allie and being very nice and just very grateful of all she had been doing as a mother to my kids. And I gotta hand it to her. She was very honest, and she just broke down crying 2 days before I went in, and she's bawling. And I remember I felt it, and I looked at her, I was like, you effed someone, didn't you? And she started crying harder. I was like, yeah. Okay. So I could just tell. And that was like kind of when we were like broken up. So it made sense. But, so whatever. So, and she's like, yeah, and I'm pregnant. So she got pregnant with someone else's kid. And let's see. So I was like, great, but I wasn't mad at her. See, I was coming to such a good point in realizing how great, how much God loved me, and like that. I was becoming very grateful in where I was at in life, because I was still surviving, I was still standing, and that was a blessing in itself. I could have died so many times. so many close calls before that even. And she's like, no, uh, like, I'm gonna, like, have an abortion. And I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that. Like, and this became a trend actually with a couple girls, like, even after that were like, ended up being pregnant with other dudes' babies in my life. And I would always insist that they keep the baby. And it's like, look, we can stay together. Just keep the baby, okay? Because I knew what it did. I knew what it did to not only the guy who helps make that decision, but the girl who makes that decision. And I'm like, keep it. And everything was set up for when I went to jail in 2 days that all my checks were going to go into Allie's bank account and everything like that. So, and I was like, are you serious? Like, just don't do that. But it was out of my hands. So I remember we drove to the jail, and I think someone followed in her car, and they it was out of my hands. I didn't really know what happened. But then so I was in Tipton, Iowa, and I had to work in Rock Island, Illinois. So that was like quite a commute. I was lucky to get out of state work release, but my lawyer was just so good that he basically got me anything I wanted, despite me messing up in the middle of all that. And so let's see. So they gave me like an hour and a half to go to and from work every day, which was very lenient because it only took like a true like 37, 40 minutes. So I always had time. And I remember me and Allie did meet up the very first time that I got the work release. And like she saw me and gave me some, I think she gave me some Adderall that she went to the doctor and went and got for me. And then after that, I didn't see her again the whole time I was in there. So I knew that something was up. And yet all my paychecks were still going to her. So then I got out. And during those 45 days, I would go to I would sneak off and go and get real food at like Jimmy John's and stuff. And I was breaking the rules pretty much. And out, but once the thing was, I was in Cedar County and I had to go to Scott and then to whatever county, Rock Island County. So once I left Cedar County, they always had an officer follow me there. But once I had left Cedar County, that sheriff would always turn around. He was in an unmarked car and everything. They always tried to catch me slipping, but I was smarter than that. So. But anyways, I got away with anything I did outside of there. But while I was in jail, and I was basically sober while I was in there, even though I would leave, I did have Adderall a little bit, but just I actually took one a day just to make sure I made it through my night shift at work, and just was holding my shit together. And so, I was basically sober, and so then I'd go back and sleep during the day, and I started having lots of dreams, and I had two dreams. One I forgot to tell you about when I was probably like between 10 and 14. I had this dream that I was in the air and I'm in the clouds and I'm fighting off this dragon up there. And it was a really terrifying dream, honestly. And I had I had a dream that like I was fighting off this dragon and I couldn't beat the dragon. And if you know me and know who I am and know the Bible, that actually is going to make a lot of sense to you. But then again, when I was staying in there for the 45 days, sleeping during the day, I had that dream again. I also had the dream of the very first dream I had when I gosh, that's so obnoxious. Like, jeez. Why do you enjoy that, people? Oh my gosh. But it's just all I can think of is pollution when I hear that. But so I also had the dream of my first memory other than being born, of the same dream of the rocket ships. And again, while I was in there, they never took off. I also had a dream that I was walking the streets of Muscatine. And I wasn't that familiar with Muscatine. I went to church there when I was a kid, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't no. But I had a dream that I would go into this gas station. And I remember the girl working there. I didn't actually see her, but she was like a spirit. And she was really bad. But something drew me to her. But I just knew she was really bad in that gas station. And then I walk out and I run into my friend Trevor, who I had in the past taken like Adderall with. He got a Adderall prescription. And I think by that point, so did I. Yeah, so did I. And so we would take Adderall together, play video games, and just like tweak out together and just like talk a bunch. He's one of my good friends. But in my dream, he had a big cup, like a big gulp. And in the dream, it was full of shards of ice, meth. And he's like, here, pick one. And I was like, oh, okay. So I picked one. And then I also had a dream that I was at a house while I was there. And I was like defending this house at all costs. And there was like an army of meth heads out there trying to overtake the house and kill me. Okay? And I held strong and I kept the house. So those are dreams that I had then in there. And lo and behold, well, I'll get to there. But those are dreams I had. When I got out, me and Allie tried to get this house there in DeWitt, but I knew, like, first of all, I'm like, okay, so what happened to the baby in your belly? And she wouldn't talk about it. And then there was another, and right when they picked me up when we got out of jail, Cash called her out anyways and said, hey, Daddy, who's, what was his name? Josh. Hey, Daddy, who's Josh? I'm like, huh, I don't know, Cash. Who is Josh? Hey, Mom, Cash wants to know who Josh is. And I like freaked out. And I knew. Cash buddy. He called her out right away. And she was just quiet. So I knew, and then we tried to get a house because I really thought that we could make it work, you know, because I had 2 kids with her. Like, that's what a family is. You have to fight for that. You have to fight to make it work, you know? Like, these kids deserve both of us in their life, so why wouldn't I fight for that? I tried, but then Allie, she just, like, didn't want to be honest with me about anything, and she wouldn't tell me who Josh was, and even though Josh was the guy that got her pregnant, so she was seeing him while she was gone, but that was just so she could get him to pay for the abortion. Poor guy. So yeah. And, so, one night I remember I was sitting in my car and the Holy Spirit came over me and I'm just crying. I'm like, come on. And I hear God say, go. And then the song by, Logic called Gone comes on. And that's really when, like, that's one of the moments where the music started to connect with the Spirit and with my life, and all the things started flowing together. And it was just like, and I actually heard it. It was audible. Go. And then Gone came on. So we broke up, and I just told her, I was like, look, this ain't gonna work, blah, blah, blah. So, I left. But then, like, we still tried after that, I believe. Because then I got a house in Durant, and Allie had found the house because she wanted us to be together still. And, ooh, the timeline's a little jacked up. Maybe. No. So there's a house, and it just so happened to be catty corner from where R.J. Smith, the dirty cop, lived. And I got the house, and then I was like, yeah, I'll get it, because I was the one making the money at the time still. And I was like, yeah, I'll get the house if, it's only in my name. And then I basically got the house, and then I was like, you know what, I'm done. No, oh, wow. Wow, yeah, see, the timeline's messed up, because she was... No, it's not messed up. No, it's not. So, no. So I moved in there, and I basically didn't really mess with Allie, and I was like, you know what, like, you can bring the kids over, blah, 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 and then she wasn't willing to do that. She just wanted us to live together, and, you know, the poor girl, she wanted our family too. We both tried really hard. We tried, but it wasn't the right match. We weren't meant to be together. I mean, she has a tattoo on her back that says Fallen Angel. That's just not for me. You know, like, and all these really dark and evil tattoos. She got my name tattooed on her, and it was right above a skull that she had right here, and she got David across the top. And I remember Cash, Alina, and then all of the my nieces and nephews, they're like, oh, cool, you got his name? And she's like, yeah. And they're like, so David is dead. And yeah, I was. I sure was. But yeah. So I ended up telling her like she couldn't come there. And then me and my friend Nick started hanging out. Nick Rostenbach. Rest in peace, buddy. We started. Oh wow. We started going. We'd always go to Sharky's, which is a pool hall out in Davenport, and we met Robbie Ann, and then his girl out there. And Robbie Ann was a really nice girl. She broken, from just a rough life, and but they started hanging out with me, and I remember me and Nick, and so we went back to my house across the street from the cop, and that night, or after that night, the next morning, we woke up, me and Robbie, in my room, and to Allie scratching and clawing my face. And it just got real bad real quick. And she got up, and Robbie, the house didn't have overhead lighting like anywhere, so I had like extension cords running to places, and I remember Robbie grabs an extension cord and takes it and whap, and it just perfectly wraps around the top of Allie's head, and the butt of it smacks her forehead. I'm like, oh my gosh. What just happened? And then Allie's freaking out, and she's like, she takes Robbie's phone and is trying to flush it. And like I go to grab it, and Allie fell in the tub. And that was always her highlight of the story. He shoved me into the tub. I didn't shove her. We both fell in the rustle of it all. But so then Allie got outside the house, and of course she went right across the street to RJ's house. And so me and Allie both ended up going to jail. Luckily, my mom came and got the kids. And oh, good golly, this is messed up, because I can't really remember. Yeah, she got the kids. I'm trying to figure out if this is after or before she had Alina. Gosh, that's so sad. God, give me the answers. Regardless, I went. I think I went for disturbing the peace, and Allie went for something else, even though she had the big mark on her head. But and in the midst of all that, RJ, he slammed me on his car. He was super rough with me. He hated me. He just would look me in the eyes, and he hated me. And yeah, me and Allie both went to jail for that. All in all, I've been to jail 12 times, 9 times on arrest. A couple of them were really stupid, like just sitting in a parking lot, smoking weed at McDonald's, or just having weed in my car and having nowhere to go because I was homeless, and then police rolling up on me. And I remember when I had to serve time for that one, um, was when, what year was that? That was 2016, I think. Yeah. Yeah. When the Cubs won the World Series, when I was in there for 9 days, the Cubs won the World Series and Trump became president all in those 9 days I was in there. And I just knew, I was like, uh-oh, this world's going to crap. So, um, it turns out it all had a lot to do with like what was going on with me. It's weird how it's all lining up, you know? But it's pretty cool. Because now that I'm getting better, everything's getting better. It might not look like it to y'all, but we all know it's getting better. Us true ones, we know it's getting better. And we know how good it's about to be. So who cares? Yeah, so that's, yeah, that brings me to 2016, and, but still, all in all, like, Allie was a writer. She bailed me out of jail quite a few times, you know. She wanted a good dad for her kids, and I wasn't that great of a dad. Wasn't. So, I'm sorry, Allie. I'm sorry that I wasn't. I'm sorry that I couldn't just man up and just be what I needed to be. All in all, I'm still glad I wasn't, because now I can be who I'm really meant to be. It would have, it would have been out of the guidelines of God's plan for me. So, hey, blessing from a bad thing yet again. What else do we got? What else we got? Yeah, I think we're gonna end it there, because this has been over another hour, and I think it's a good time to just end this conversation. And this one was eventful, but completely out of like relevant, or not relevance, but just like just out of dates and stuff, and out of the line, like, because it got really blurry there for a while. But anyways, I love you all. Thank you for listening, and I hope that this can shine a light on how good God is, because I was so bad, but He is so good, and He still loves me, and He always will love me. So that's what's awesome about it. And I know that. And if you want to feel good inside and you want joy, choose God. Choose God. Okay. Love ya.